Hello and welcome back everyone to next episode on Anubhav Learning Series. Our today's topic is how to update OData Services data in a mass mode. Many of you have written me or asked me this question in the past. Other than deep insert, is there any way by which we can update mass data to SAP system? So today I've got a very innovative technique which I've recently used in one of the project where I would send a mass data, like say 50 sales orders, and all these 50 sales orders I will update in a single shot to our database. So what is the architecture for this design? Let's try and understand the same. So what we will do is we will understand what's the process. So you can see on one side we have our Fiori application running on the browser, and typically we send all the data over the network, over the OData service to our SAP backend server. And many a times it is required that we wanted to send data to the server in a way that it can update all the data at once to the database table. Yes, and if any of the record has any problem, it should discard the whole set. The option which is preferably used by experts in industry is deep insert, but deep insert has a lot of cumbersome payload and it is also very difficult at times to work with. So what I found a better solution today, which I would like to present, is we will do this conversation using a stream or a base 64 stream. So what we will do is we will, let's say, have all the data here in the JSON format in Fiori app. We will convert this to a base 64 stream, and then we transmit this base 64 stream as a complete string to ABAP. In ABAP, we receive this base 64 stream and we convert this to JSON, and then this JSON to a internal table. So ABAP provides you the APIs which you can utilize to convert a JSON to ITAB directly. The same can be done with an XML format as well. And then once we have the data in the ITAB, we can loop over the data and then we can validate and then post the data to the database finally. So this will be our approach. So I will be creating a OData service, and I will be creating a database table for sales orders, custom sales orders, and I will be creating also a OData service. Yes, so this is what also I will be doing. And this OData service will just have a key property and a value property, both are a string. And in this value property is when I will assign the base 64 string completely to send it all in a batch. So let's go to the system and see this in action. So for more interesting videos like this, please like, share, subscribe this channel and share this video with your colleagues if they are also looking forward for a better solution for updating mass data using OData service to SAP backend system. So now let me switch over to the system. So the complete process with screenshot is explained here. You can see in our training slides, which are available to you. Now, what we do next is we will learn how to move high volume of data in the response to the SAP server. So here what we will do is we will send a mass data. Let's say I wanted to send 50 records, 100 records, 200 records, 2000 records, and all these 2000 records I wanted to receive it in SAP server. And then these 2000 records I wanted to basically use and do some processing or insert the data in my database table. This is what I wanted to actually do. So how do we do that? How do we achieve this? So what we can do in SAP is we can easily go and send a XML file to SAP, and in that XML file we will have humongous amount of data. And then what we can do is once this file is received from SAP server side, we can use this file and insert the data into the database table directly. So let me go ahead and show you this, how to achieve it. So let's create a very simple custom database table. And this is a hands-on exercise where we all can follow that. So suppose I wanted to create a custom say table zcap underscore ab underscore orders. Click on create. And I wanted to create a order table with application type, and now I will just put here mandate. I'll put order ID as a primary key, and let's call it as int1. I will put here the customer name. Let's put care 256 or care 80 is enough. And let's put the order amount. So a very simple database table for us, where we are just creating a brand new database table to actually insert the data in the database system. So choose a transport request. Create this table. Yes, and activate the table. So table is ready. Now in this table, I wanted to insert, let's say 20 orders in one shot, and all the order amount must be greater than 100 bucks. If the amount of order is less than 100 rupees, reject the whole update. Yeah, don't insert any record. That's the requirement through OData service. So next step, we will build a service where we will receive all the orders in a batch in a single string. But before that, it's your turn to create this database table in the system. Your time starts. So in the next step, we will create a OData service in Scgw, but not in order format. So I click on create button, Z OData mass. Yeah. So you can follow the naming convention according to whatever naming convention we are following. And I can say mass OData upload. I click on local object for now. And now I will create a new entity type here. This entity type will just have two properties. One will be a dummy ID and second will be a big string. So let's put here the entity type name, say uh, mass data. Also create entity set. And now we'll go back and add two properties here, just a key and a value. The key is just for the merely making it as a primary key. String, both will be string data type. Okay, there's extra space here. Yeah. And then we are just going to say creatable. And now what we will do, just generate the runtime artifacts. So very straightforward and simple. We just create a service with one entity set called mass data and an entity set called mass data set with just two properties, key and value. Both are string. Key will be the key here. Everyone on your system. So now I would like to showcase the mass data which we are about to post to SAP server. And for that, I will go to jsonlint.com and show you a sample JSON which contains about odd 50 orders. You can see 50 orders are there together. They will be posting together. They will be living together. They will be updated together. If any one of the order has a problem, we are going to reject the whole order data. But remember, this cannot so happen easily. Because the JSON contains special characters like curly braces, comma, and SAP system can't accept it. So what we do is we take this JSON and we go to a website where we convert JSON to base 64. And we just convert the JSON to the base 64 on the right. You can see it's done. And now we can implement a post request where we can send this data to the SAP backend system. So let's see that how can we achieve it. So I'm going to switch over back to our system, go to our DPC extension class, and first just write a logic to kind of receive this data. So I go to the post implementation, post method of DPC extension class, and we will just go at the very bottom, and we will have here the create entity set. Let's go for change. As we also saw it before, we will just get the data. Me, for IO request object, IO data provider. And we will receive the entity data. We declare our entity. Type our MPC class. And we have TS mass data, which is the structure. So we will get now that complete string over here. And SAP provides free methods for us to convert this JSON to a string and string to a JSON. So you can see here we can decode base 64 and we can eventually get our JSON data in the system. You can also Google the same, how to decode base 64 and get the data. So there's a class called HTTP utility class. Let me create object of that class. HTTP utility class. We will just create an object of that. So let's do that. And then we will use this to decode the base 64. We will pass here the value of the JSON string which we receive. And we will take this value into a file, LVJSON. So after decoding, we got the JSON data. And now we convert this JSON to an internal table. So watch out, we can go to Google, SAP ABAP, JSON to base 64, JSON to item. I want to convert my JSON to an internal table. So there's already a set of methods available on Google, which you can explore. You can see this is a JSON data which we get, and we can convert that to a directly the data. So you can see there are JSON serializer classes which are possible in SAP. I can just go back here and see some blogs as well. And you see here, there's a class where we can pass a string and it converts it to a JSON. So JSON to data. We will use this. And I will pass my input JSON, which I've got from the SAP server, from the client. And then I will convert this to a structure. So let's check this method. And this method has a output type any. So we can now declare our order internal table. Because we know the data type must match with our order internal table. So we just create a table type for this, or just directly create a type table of this. So as a result, now we will be able to get the data in, hopefully in the iTab. And let's also put a breakpoint. Activate. So this is the next step, how we implement the create entity set method, where we receive a base 64 encoded string, convert that to JSON, and JSON to our internal table in ABAP. So as the next step, now we will register the OData service. Let me go ahead and do that. So I will just go to the main service transaction code. And here in the main service transaction code, we will just register our service, which is mass data, Z OData mass. Let's add local underscore SRV. Of course, you will register the service which you have planned or with your name. And let's add that. We right away switch to the Postman tool where the service will be ready for us to consume. So I will switch over to the Postman tool, and as per our OData training collection, I will switch to the collection, and here I will make a copy of our existing call which we have created. So let me create a call, duplicate, and we will make a call to our service. I think this is not the correct collection. Let me just check the correct one. It's here. Yeah. So let's make a call to get entity, duplicate, and let's rename it to get token, CSRF token for our OData service. So this is our OData service, and I will just get, we have mass data set, and I will just use the metadata to get token. So go to header, xcsrf token fetch, and I will call the fetch, and I should get the token from SAP server for the CSRF. Yes, here it is. And our next subsequent call is a copy of the same request where I will be using it for the purpose of now the data. So we got the token, and let's duplicate the call. And in the next call, we will do the post on our entity set mass data set and make sure the token is injected here. And let's do the post on this entity set called mass data set. And we just pass a body now. Yes, raw JSON. And we just pass here two properties, key and value. In the key, you can pass, let's say, a random value, maybe X. And in the actual value, which is the next value property which we had created in Gateway project, we will pass the value, which is a base64 encoded string. So let me see and confirm if it is value only. So we go back to the metadata of the service for the mass upload, and we see here there is a property called value. So key and value. So let's pass the value. And in this value, guys, we will pass the whole base64 string which we encoded by the help of this online tool. Of course, this encoding will be done by Fury developer in your company. So I just use the copy button here, copy to clipboard on this website, and paste that over here. And now I trigger this post request, and it should hit our breakpoint in ABAP. There you go. It reads the whole base64. It initialize a class for HTTP and use this base64 JSON. You can see the JSON has come in, and now we will just use this to convert to internal tables. Dumping, UC object not convertible. So there is some problem in the conversion. There is some dump coming. Let me trigger again. So it's trying to convert the data to internal table now, and this conversion is failing. Yeah, let's see the reason of failure. So perhaps could be the order underscore ID. Yeah, we have in our table order underscore ID, customer, amount, three things. But in our database table, the field name is order underscore ID, but in JSON it is order ID. So that could be potential reason for conversion error, could be, but I'm not sure. But what we can do for now, I can go back to my table because the table is empty. I can change the column name still for my table, and I will remove the order underscore ID. So underscore I'm removing and reactivate the table. Yeah, let's give a try again. So at least now I have the column name matching, which is no more underscore. So it should try. It should attempt to map based on names. Again, it is dumping. So it is certainly dumping here, and it is unable to map data to our table. Let me just check. So now it feels like this is a conversion issue, because my JSON has data which is string format. You can see some strings are there, and there are amount and string conversion issue. Perhaps that could be the reason. So what I will do, create a local type with order ID, customer, and amount, all three as string for now. So I go back to my source code and I will create another type in ABAP for JSON like format, and we have order ID type string. Everything I'll create a string. Yes. And then we will put here the amount and customer. Everything as string. So at least conversion error will somehow go away. Yeah, that's the main job of this purpose. So I will save and let me create an internal table called JSON tab. Hopefully this JSON tab should receive the data. Let's hope and see. And then we will do the movement of data to insert data to table. I've activated now. Let's re-trigger the call. And of course it should hit my breakpoint now. I'll put up the breakpoint on this line. Yes. So the breakpoint is hit now, and you can see we have got here the JSON, which is having order ID, amount, and customer and amount. So let me see if the same order we have, order ID, customer, amount, F6. It is still dumping. Object move not supported. So there is something going wrong here. Let us try to investigate the dump in ST22. So the moment this movement happens properly, we should be able to receive the data properly. Yeah. So I will investigate the dump, that where exactly it's failing. It's failing at this token level. LV token is not initial. Okay. So is it the token issue here with this token? No, this cannot be the issue. LV token is not initial. Object move reference is not supported. No problem. We'll set up a breakpoint and see which value it's trying to move where it's creating the issue. So I set up a breakpoint here as well and trigger again. So we are debugging the SAP internal functionality where it is trying to do the movement. So it comes to this line and you can see it's 1. And let's see here this one LVNE is nothing. F6. So this movement worked fine. I go to the next field where you can see it is VKU, and this movement also worked fine. Then it comes to the value 2. This also worked fine. So somewhere there is a special character. Yes, there was a failure. Okay, let's try again. Somewhere there is a special character which is causing this issue or this failure to happen. 1, 2, 3. So the fourth one we saw the problem. So Jabberstorm, it worked. Yeah, double hash. So there is somewhere a double hash coming in the code which is causing a problem in our string. So let me just check the JSON data again. So it is the double hash which is creating a problem. So you see in the middle somewhere this double hash is coming. This guy is actually creating an issue to move the data from one place to another place. Triple hash is fine, but double hash together is creating a problem. I think this hash itself in general is creating a problem for our data to be moved to the internal table. So rather than this option, I will choose another implementation called deserialize. And now here I will pass the JSON. Yes, I will get my data in my internal table, JSON tab. Let's hope this should do the job. So our goal is to finally the JSON which we receive transform into a table so that the data can be sent to the database in the same way. Yeah, that's the main goal and intention. Let's give it a try. And it's certainly possible. So we are moving the mass data to the SAP system now. So this is our JSON again, F6. Yes. Congratulations, everybody. We've got 50 sales orders in a batch to SAP server in one go. And now you all know it. Yes, you all know it, what you need to do in ABAP system. You don't need further debugging. We can simply go back and we can utilize the data which we got in the JSON tab, move this data to our internal table for SAP. So let's do a loop at JSON tab, JSON line, and we will just map data to our work area, which is of type my database table. And we can put all the validation, and if we check if any amount is less than $100, we can throw an exception. Yeah, so if any amount is less than 100, then we will throw an exception. Yeah, this is all what you can do in a BAP as a BAP developer. I don't need to explain that. It will terminate the posting of order. Otherwise, we can just do move corresponding JSON line to work area, and the order ID, if you remember, we had order ID. Okay, everything will work actually. Append work area to iTab, and then we finally insert into our database table from table iTab. Let's do a check, activate, and I will first show you my table. It has nothing is there. Yeah, and I just go back and trigger post. Done. Let's go back to database table, and all the 50 orders are posted in SAP server in one shot. That's the beauty of mass upload to SAP server. You can do all in a chunk, in a batch. Suppose you have an Excel sheet, you upload it on a Fiori app. You can do this in the Fiori. You can convert this JSON to a X string and send it to SAP. SAP, you receive it, you post it all at once into the system. So this is how we can do a mass upload to SAP. So thank you so much for watching this video today with us. If you like this video, please share and subscribe the channel, and I will see you in our next episode. Thank you so much and goodbye.